Hello everybody, this is Elmtree from Liquid Gaming and the AOC. Today I'm trying to go over something a little bit more of advanced Arma, and that's using range finding tools and map tools to find distances in different aspects of targets and friendlies to help better our experience inside our Arma Nights. So, what are the tools I'm going to be using? I'm going to be using Vector 21s. The Knight or the regular 21 will both work for the means of this demonstration. I'm going to be using the 21 Knight. We're going to be using map tools, and then we're going to be using the Microdagr GPS. It can't be the regular dagger, it has to be the Microdagr GPS. Okay, so those are our tools. My main goal for this little demonstration is that I'm trying to show you guys how powerful some of these pieces of equipment inside ACE are, and how we could use them inside our missions to make the whole experience better, like I said. I used references for this video. They are just the ACE 3 mod wiki. I'll link everything that I used in the description. I don't claim to be an expert on any of this stuff. I have some hours in the game. I've played the game with a lot of you guys, and I'm just trying to spread the knowledge that I do have. I don't, like I said, I don't claim to be an expert, and some people might know these things better than I do, but I'm trying to spread the knowledge as much as we can. With that, let's take a look at the vector, shall we? I'm using the Vector 21 Knight, like I said. I mean, it takes up your binocular slot, so you're gonna have to press B to take it out, as in like Bob or Bravo, I think the correct term would be. So you're gonna use this. A lot of you guys know how to use these in a basic term. So like everything to do with the vector is going to be one or the other, or a combination of tab, the tab button, and the R button, like Romeo. Okay? So, like I want to get a range on this tank right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press and hold R. There's going to be a circle that pops up in the middle. We'll see it. See that little circle, square circle thing? And then I'll let go. And that'll give me the range from me to that tank. It's a direct horizontal range, like a regular range finder. You know, so what else can we do? We can find out what the compass bearing is from me to him. I do that by pressing tab, and I can, this is just a horizontal compass bearing, directly horizontal. So that's good to know. If I want to have both of them on the screen at the same time, I have to press and hold both buttons at the same time. So I press and hold tab and R at the same time. Once I saw that circle, I let go to get the range, so I can look at that tank and say that it's 185 degrees and 962 meters away from me. You know, that's pretty basic stuff with the vector that I think most people know. Maybe the azimuth thing some people don't know, but the range thing I think most people do know. And again, that's tab and R. And like I say, everything with the vector is going to be a combination of tab and R. Okay? So now we can get into something that's a little bit more fancy. Let's look at this camp here, this anti-tank camp. And what I want to do is I'm going to get the horizontal distance from me to them, and also I'm going to get the difference in vertical distance. So in other words, how much higher up am I above sea level than they are? And how am I going to do this? It's just using the R button, like Romeo, the R button. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap it quick, and then I'm going to hold it. So I'm going to tap it and hold it. It's going to pop up with here. I'm going to let go. And it's going to tell me that the horizontal distance on the left there, that camp is 1,098 meters away from me. And the negative 205 means that in relation to where I am, that camp is negative, meaning below me, 205 meters. Okay? So that could be information that you might want to know. The so next thing that we're going to look at is the azimuth and inclination, or I think it would be declination. I'm going to measure the declination. I'm going to tap and hold tab. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing I did with R, but I'm going to do it with tab. I'm going to tap it and hold it. See? So now I'm tapped and hold. I can see that to this camp, it's 205 degrees. Right? And the negative 11 degrees means that I'm looking down, like I was saying, I'm looking down at them, a negative 11 degree angle. If I was to look up straight, up here, and to this right here would be level. I'm looking level right now. As I'm looking down further at these people, I'm looking at negative 11 degrees. Okay? Not a hard concept, but I'm not sure when you'd want to use that. Maybe other people have an idea of when they want to use that, and that might be a good thing for them to know. But that's available to be used in the vector, and that's all part of the demonstration, is showing you everything that you can do with this piece of equipment. So what else might be pertinent information that we'd want to know on how to do this, or use this rather? Let's look at what the distance would be between 2 points. So in other words, what the distance, say, from this tank here would be to that camp. Direct as the crow flies distance. How we're going to do that? We are going to press and hold R, and then we're going to press. Then we're just going to tap tab. So I'm going to press and hold R like I'm taking a regular range, but instead of letting go, of R, I'm just going to tap tab, and you can see that 1-P popped up. And that's the first point. That's what that means. It means that it's the first point. I'm still holding down R, by the way. All I did was tap tab. So now what it's asking me when it says 1-P is, where's your second point? Okay? So you can use right click to jump out of the binoculars, by the way, and while you're still holding R. Like I said, I'm still holding R right now. I'm going to go over the tank. I'm going to let go of R. So 393. What does that number mean? It means that it's the direct horizontal distance between that camp and that first tank. Okay? And I think you could see how that could be useful. What's another thing that we can do? We can do a horizontal and vertical distance. What does that mean? It means that, say I look at this building, I can go from one point to another, and the vector is going to tell me what the width is here and what the height is. Kind of like a right triangle. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to look down on, we're going to look on the corner here, and we're going to tap R, and then we're going to hold it. Okay, so I'm going to do a tap hold right here. Now I'm going to just press tab. See, that's my first point. It's asking me for a second point, like I said before. And what did I do to get to this point? I tapped R quickly and then held it afterwards. I tapped and held, and then once I had the circle, I pressed tab once. Okay? Now I'm going to go to the other corner of this building right here. I'm going to let go of R. Okay? So what do these numbers mean? The 20 is the width here of this building. The 5 is the height of this building. Okay? You might be able to think of different times where that might come in handy, but it's something that you can do with it. And in my opinion, the most significant thing with just the vector that you can do with it is you can take this position here, and we can take the same horizontal distance, but we can also take a regular horizontal compass bearing from this location to another location. Let me show you how that's done. What we're going to do is we're going to press and hold tab. We're going to press and hold tab like this, okay? And then we are going to press R. That's going to be our first point. And what I did, I pressed and held tab, and then I pressed R once. I'm still holding tab now, like a lot of the other ones. And it says first point, it's asking me for the second point. So now I'm going to kind of come over here and go to here, and then I'm going to let go of tab. Now I got these numbers popping up on the screen, right? What do these mean? Well, what these mean is that to that tank that we just lased, and then come and look at this camp, is that from that tank, if it looks 262 degrees and it goes forward 389 meters, it is going to be in the middle of that camp. And I think that everybody can think of ways that this could be super helpful. Okay, so there's one more thing that this can do that I'm not super familiar with, but it's worth mentioning, and that is in being a forward observer and directing artillery, and that's artillery fired by another player. And like I say, more people might know more about this than me, but I'm going to go over what the steps would be to do it. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a tap and hold of tab. So we're going to do a tap and hold. So this is that inclination that we were talking about before, that vertical bearing and the horizontal bearing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tap R. That's our first point. This is going to give us direction. Say an artillery shell fell at this rock right here, and we want it to hit that camp. I started at the camp. You start at the target. I think I forgot to mention that, is that you do a tap, you look at the target, and then you tap tab, and then you hold tab in quick succession. Then when you see that negative inclination, or you see that inclination number, you can press R to mark your target that you're trying to hit with artillery. Then you move your binoculars to where the artillery hit. We're saying that it hit at this rock. I know that there's not an actual crater there, but we're just using it as demonstration purposes, okay? And then you let go of tab. And what do these numbers mean? Wow. Basically, this is what I assume to be is what you would read out to the guy in the gun to give them corrections. And on the left side, that's an R, 11. So that would mean that he would have to go right 11 meters and add 163. And you have to add 163 meters. Right? Maybe this is more of if you're standing next to the gun, maybe like a mortar or something, maybe this would be more applicable to thinking of it. But you can also, if you press at the screen, you press R, it says down 14. So you would read out right 11 meters, add 163, and down 14. Somebody that knows how to run a mortar would probably understand that lingo more than me, but there it is. That's how you get it. So let's say that you don't want meters and you don't want degrees. You want to change like the unit settings of your vector. You can do that. You can switch it to mils, and then you can switch it to feet if you want to. And how you do that is you press tab in quick succession 5 times. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it says unit setting, and the 360 degrees on the left, and 51-U, that means That's just meters in some other term that I don't know. But that in layman's terms, that's meters. I can press R for different combinations. So 6400, that's mils. And then it switches to feet. So now I'm in mils and feet. Now I'm in degrees and feet. Now I'm back into degrees and meters. So, and then to return back to being able to range things, you press tab again 5 times, quick succession. 3, 4, 5. Store. How do you access your Microdagr? Default keys is going to be your self-interaction menu, and default is going to be left control in Windows. To bring this menu up, your menu might look different. Look into your settings, your Ace add-on settings and stuff to figure out how to get to this menu. I believe the default is left control in Windows. We go to equipment, and then we go to configure Microdagr, and then you just let go of the key. At least that's how I have mine set up. And here we go. Here's the big old Microdagr. Right? So what am I looking at? So what I'm looking at is this is our 10-digit grid coordinate. So here's a good time to go over a little bit of digit grid coordinates. Right? The main ones are like 4-digit, 6-digit, 8-digit, 10-digit. What do they mean? What's a 10-digit grid coordinate? Well, it's 5 digits on your east-west, and then 5 digits on your north-south. Right? Like how you'd read a graph, you would go your x-axis first, and then your y-axis. This is the same concept. Okay? And what's the difference between a 10-digit, 8-digit, 6-digit is just accuracy. So a 10-digit grid coordinate is going to be within a meter. An 8-digit grid coordinate is going to be within 10 meters. And then a 6-digit grid coordinate is going to be within 100. And so on. So that's basic grids for you. Okay? So let's talk about the Microdagr. I mean, this is mission sensitive, or mission stuff, so, I mean, that might be useful in some cases, might not, but if we click on here, this is going to be a compass. So this is going to be your compass directions. This is going to be helpful when you have to set waypoints. And then we got the map here. And the map, what I'm doing right now is I'm holding right click, and I'm able to drag it around, and I have some of this map blacked out just so that we can focus on the important parts. And so what does this map do? Right now I'm in topographical mode. I can switch it to satellite mode by clicking on the map icon again, like that. Okay. This, if you're not clicking and dragging, if you're clicking and dragging, you can scroll wheel to change the view, or the zoom rather. In this, you can go forward and backwards like this, and then this middle one just snaps you back to the center. Okay, so if you want to set, like, say, a waypoint, the easiest way to set a waypoint is if you want to say you want to go to this industrial site, say. You can just double click from this map, double click on it, and that's the waypoint. This is actually a 10-digit grid coordinate, but it's just shortened down to 6. And you give it a name. You can only name it with numbers, so we'll just give this one 10 for no particular reason. So there's 10. And we can set that as our waypoint. And now it's telling us that if we go 222.2 degrees for 1.397 kilometers, we will reach the industrial site. Right? There's a little pin to show you where your waypoint is and where it's taking you. There's 2 other ways of setting waypoints and setting marks on the map, and this is the easiest way of doing it. If you're giving grids, then you can just punch them into the waypoint, or if you want to put a mark on the map, you can just throw down a grid. And I'll show you a little bit of that later. But that's basic waypoint right there. The easiest way to set a waypoint. That's it. So what else can you do on the Microdagr is that if you click up here on these, this time, I think it is here. you can see marks, waypoints, like we were just talking about this stuff, and then connect to. You can connect. So the really cool thing about the Microdagr, other than the waypoint thing, is that you can connect it to your vector, your vector 21. And I'll show you that in a minute, but let's just get these settings out of the way. These settings, we're going to show you waypoints on the map, like that pin that I just showed you, and then angular units of mils or degrees, right? I'm going to stay with degrees, because that's just what I know. Maybe in a different situation you choose mils. That's not what I'm going to do for right now. Alright, so first let's connect it to our vector. So right now it's saying that it's waiting for me to give it a range. It's waiting for me to ping something, basically. So I'm going to get out of this by pressing escape. It's going to go down my bottom right. You can see it kind of moving around as I'm moving, you know. So let's look at this camp. Let's get some grid on this camp. Where is this camp, and how am I going to do this? Well, we went over a lot of functions that the Vector 21 has. The one that works with the Microdagr is if you hold Tab and R. So hold Tab and R so you get both the azimuth and the horizontal range. So we're going to do that. Let go. And that's it. So we got 205 degrees at 1,112 meters. So let's back out of that. Right clicked. And I'm looking at the bottom right. You see that's kind of got filled in. So from our lays, 204.7 degrees. It went to a 10th place. It said 5 in the vector. It's a 10th place in the Microdagr here. It's going to the 1000th place in the actual range. And it actually has the elevation above sea level of that particular point that we marked, that camp in this instance. And then we have the 10-digit grid coordinate. And like I said, a 10-digit grid coordinate is down to a meter. All right. So the let's bring that up a little bit bigger so that y'all can see it. We'll go here. Like I said, the range. You guys can look at all this stuff. If I'm going at a pace that you're not quite understanding, just pause the video, open up a map where you can go to Zeus Forge and give yourself this stuff and just mess around with it. See how it all works. Try all the different keybinds and the taps and the double taps and connecting the Microdagr and stuff. Try all that stuff out. But we'll just take a look at this right now. I'm not entirely sure what the VC means. Somebody that has more knowledge probably will. I do know that this is the 10-digit grid coordinate of that point. And I'll write that down just so I don't have to try to remember it. Is 1, 1, 1, 3, 5. So that's 5 digits, and that is your X coordinate. Otherwise, from the eastern side, I believe it's the eastern side, the that you're counting is the is that number is 11135, and then our Y coordinate is 0, 4, 6, 1, 6. Okay? So where is that helpful for us? Let's say we want to put a mark down on there, just for whatever means that we might want. So let's put a mark down. So to put a mark down, we'll just throw those coordinates in. We'll do 1, 1, 1, 3, 5, 0, 4, 6, 1, 6. Okay. Now this is going to take that 10-digit grid coordinate and shorten it down to 6. And I'm going to we already have 10 at that industrial site, so I'll use 11. There we go. So I'll just click on that. And then let's just look at the map. And we can see that we put a mark down, and that's a mark directly on that camp, within a meter, on our dagger here. And it doesn't have to be a camp. It'd be whatever point that you want, you know. So like I say, we're in an observation point and you want to mark a couple things out, this is kind of the way that you would do it, and you'd have it all marked out on your dagger via these grid coordinate systems. Exactly where these guys are and where does this information come in handy would be giving it to an artillery person that can use that information to call in a barrage on these guys. Like, say, in this exact situation where you have a tank column coming up and they have an anti-tank camp, and we want to eliminate that so we can keep the column moving through. And we can eliminate that without putting any risk to our lives at all via indirect fire, accurate indirect fire. And it's very easy when you can look at it. But how does that differ when you can't see it? So let's just try that exercise out right now. So we know that it's right here, right? We know that that camp is right there because we can reference this location on our dagger. So I'll put a dot right there. So what's the other piece of equipment that I mentioned in the beginning? It was a map tools, right? So map tools are a good way of getting an 8-digit grid coordinate, like 8-digit to get to 10 meters, right? When you can't see the target to laze it. And there might be a better way of doing this, but this is the way that I know how to do it, and it seems to work pretty good. So we'll go to map tools, and we'll show the small map tool so that we get down to an 8-digit grid coordinate. I'll grab it. Like I say, some of this map is blacked out just so that it's easier viewing at the important information. The way I'm setting this map tool up is I'm lining it up on I believe this is a 2-digit grid coordinate here, 1,000 meter grid. And the more accurate you get this to that grid coordinate right there, the more accurate your call out is going to be. Okay, so we're looking at this point here. We already know what it is, and but that doesn't matter. We're experimenting that we can't see this point, right? This is just an experiment that we can't see this point, and we want to get fire on this point for whatever reason. It could be a town, it could be a encampment like it is, or whatever. Keep in mind that if you're using artillery, that the artillery piece themselves has a certain amount of inaccuracy, so you don't, even if you're giving a GPS coordinate that is down to the meter, those shells are probably not going to fall on it within a meter. Okay, so just keep a little bit of realistic expectation out of some of this stuff. And if you want to round one way or another, I'm sure that it's fine. I mean, or you can cut it in half and get that would be more of like a 10-digit grid coordinate, but let's stick with what we're trying to do. Okay, so we'll just get close. We'll go this way. We'll get close. So here, and the way that I like to use map tools, and people do it differently, is I like to just put my cursor down and hold right click and then just read it. So as I zoom in here, I can see as you go up on this right side, it goes 044, 045, 046, and so on. It goes up from the south to the north. And if you look at the bottom, you can see that it goes up from left to right, so from the west to the east. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to the smaller coordinate. In this case, it'd be 111 and 046. And then I'm adding on to them to get the 8-digit grid coordinate. So I'm going to go here. It goes right around here. So if I look at that map tool, I can see that I am 1, 2, 3 grid squares in from the left where 111 is. So I would say that this point that I'm at right now as an X 8-digit grid coordinate would be 113. Okay? So obviously we go X, Y, right? So now if we look over here at the Y, I'm just going to move up a little bit just to make it easy. So we're going to go, and we have 0, 4, 6 here, right? 0, 4, 6. And then here, right there, is 0, 4, 6, 1, 2. So it's going to be 0, 4, 6, 2. So if you were to put that all together as an 8-digit grid coordinate, it would be 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 4, 6, 2. Okay? And let's put that into practice. Let's do this right here. Let's open our Microdagr. Let's look at our waypoints here. Let's delete this one that's here. Delete. And let's go back to mark. And what did we say that it was? 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 4, 6, 2. Okay? That's it. And we'll name this back as 11. Actually, we'll name it 12. Just cause. Okay? And we'll hit OK. Now let's look at the map. Where is it? See? It's pretty damn close. It's within what an artillery shell is probably going to land. Like, you don't want to be within 200 meters of an artillery shell because it might have a little bit of leeway back and forth. You know, it's not going to drop exactly where you want it to all the time. If you're talking about more precision guided bomb, it might be a different story, but we're talking about artillery right now. So that's just how that works. Let's just do one more point. Let's just say we want to do, let's do something, let's do like right here. This looks good. We'll go right here. We'll put a mark down right there. This is where we want to see. What's this grid? I know you can look at the fucking thing in the middle where it says the numbers, but you still can't get the 8 digits. It's still a 6-digit grid coordinate, so you're still out 100 meters. Right? So, let's read it. And we'll read it regular. So, on the bottom, you can see it says 117. And then we're going to count up is 1. I'm counting right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? It's about 4. So that X grid coordinate would be 1174. And then if we look over here on the right, we can read it from the bottom up. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's simple counting, okay? I'm not trying to make it so I'm not trying to insult your guys' intelligence. I'm just trying to go over everything in detail so that you guys know exactly what it is. So, right, I said 8. So it all together, right, it'd be 1174 and then 0478. So let's just mark that, just as an experiment, you know. So let's do mark, and I said it was 1174. Then 0478, I believe, if I remember it right. Then we'll hit OK. Let's look at our map. No, we didn't quite get that one. So why didn't we get that one? So we'll go mark. I don't think I put a... Alright, let's do that again. So we're going to do 11740478. Okay, and I'm going to label this one as, we'll do 13. There's 13. I don't think I put a name on it the first time. I think that's why. So, then we'll look at the map and see. Look at it, it's right there. It's pretty damn close. Alright, so that's just kind of how that works. Okay? So let's just take a look and see how this whole deal kind of comes and accumulates together. And we'll put some artillery shells on this camp. Alright, so if we were up here, let's get out of here and get out of this. If we were up here and we were spotting this point, and we're like, oh, there's a camp here, and we got these tanks coming up, we want to drop some artillery shells on you. I'm connecting I connected my Microdagr using the connect to function. Now I'm looking at this. I'm gonna hold Tab and R together. Bang. So I got this. I'm gonna come out of here. 11133, and I would radio this to my artillery commander, right? I don't have an artillery commander right now, so I'm just going to write it down. 11133. Then I have 0, 4, 6, 1, 5. Alright, so that's what I'm going to, and then I'm going to put that into, I'm going to give it to my artillery commander, which, you know, is Zeus. And with these guys, I'm going to go through, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go ART, and I'm going to give this guy, and we'll put out, we'll just do a sighting shot, right? So we'll throw in a grid. People do this in Zeus all the time. 1113, 3, 5 digits, and now we need the other 5, which is 0, 4, 6, 1, 5. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to put any spread in there because we'll see how close he gets, and then we'll fire one. So what am I going to do while he's going to shoot? We're going to try follow the shot. So to do that, we're going to tap Tab and hold it, and then I'm going to press R. So now I'm waiting for the shot. It takes about 30 seconds from where that is, for where that gun is, for it to land. So now I as a forward guy, maybe this wouldn't be the situation you'd use this, but we're just doing it as kind of an experiment, a little demonstration, you know. Bang, there it is. That's pretty close, I would say. If we want to get kind of in the detail, I don't think that you can expect an artillery shell to land any much closer than that. We would say left 9 meters, add 12, down 0. You're right on. Alright? And you'd be like, okay, sounds good. And we'll fire for effect this time. ART. We go here. Thankfully, it saves the grid coordinate. And we'll say all the 4 guns will fire 2 rounds. Fire for effect, you know. These guys. These guns are pretty cool, eh? Alright. So then we'll just kind of look at these guys. We still got one dude alive there. No, those guys don't look like they're doing too well. I don't suspect that they're going to do too much better here in a minute. Sorry for the task force doesn't work in single player stuff, guys. See how far them artillery shells landed out? Well, I would have to say that that position is successfully softened up at this moment. Alright guys, well, we went through the vector in pretty fine detail. We went through the Microdagr, I'd say pretty good detail. We went through the map tools in pretty basic form. All of these things added together can make you into a very, very powerful person in the game and when we're doing ops. So it's important to know these things, especially if you're a team leader or something. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something and you can implement this stuff, whether you're playing with us or playing in a different group somewhere. And if I'm missing anything or don't know something, I'm always willing to learn, so don't mind dropping a comment or something. And otherwise, stay safe, have fun, and fuck squad. Alright? Later, guys.